Today we are continuing lesson 6, applications of linear function. The previous lesson we completed application of linear functions when an equation is given. So the first one, let's review that one. When we were given an equation, first question here we have regarding Maya making necklaces. So the equation is given, and you're asked to sketch the graph, and you use either your graphing calculator or Desmos. Any graphing technology will suffice. Once you enter the equation into your calculator, you'll have an equation. But before that, we sketch a graph indicating the x-axis, or the independent variable, and then the dependent variable, which is your y-axis. In this case, it's cost as your dependent variable, and the number of necklaces would be your independent variable. Once we completed the sketch in terms of x and y-axis, we enter the equation into the calculator. We'll have our line. In this case, it's a straight line. And then we sketch it into a graph. After that, you're asked to complete a question. When you know the value for x, what is y? And we use graphing calculator as well as Desmos for the same to find the result. So the two questions we completed. We also looked at domain and range. We said in these cases here, the range, which is the value on the y-axis where this graph exists, is a restricted one because there's no negative days in this case, only positive, but the days come to an end when the amount of money Ahmed had is gone. So there's restricted domain, which is your x values, in this case from 0 to 19.41. 19.41, that's an exact number of the time when the money ends. He has no more money. And he started off with $165, and after 20 days, he has no more money. So that's when the equation is given. Today we are going to look at questions where a table of values is given. And the next one we look at when the verbal description is given. So the other two. So you'll need for this set of assignment is your calculator, either a graphing one or probably Desmos, or the one on your computer. Doesn't matter with Desmos, but you'll need these two. Also, you may want to keep handy your instruction sheet on how to use a graphing calculator. So there are two sides to it. Or you may want to also look at how to display data and find the line of best fit using Desmos. So the first question I want to look at is in your booklet, and that is on page 32. Okay, I'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see the question. Okay, here we have the cost of tackle. Now, in the previous question, the equation is given. Here, you have to go one step further by entering the data into your calculator, and we've done that before. And we'll determine the linear equation for this model. In other words, you'll have an equation of a line, and you indicate that equation of a line here. Also, you'll also sketch your graph. And there are two follow-up questions. How much would it cost if 20 tacos are ordered? This will be your x value. We'll find later on. And how many tacos could you buy with $100? That will be your y value in finding the x. So you'll need with you handy your sheet here. I'll walk you through each one of these. So let's look at this question here. Here you're given the data, number of tacos. Generally, the first set of values are belong to your x-axis, but not always. But the way it's designed in this booklet is the top values are the x values. So we can say this could be the x value here. Or in your calculator, this would be L1. We'll talk about that later. And this would be a y value or L2. So the first question, determine the linear equation and models the situation. To do that, let's try to do a sketch of what the situation would look like, actually looks like. So I'll zoom out a little bit here. Now, as I mentioned, this is your x-axis, your number of tacos ordered. So we'll indicate that, I need to go up a little bit more. Okay. Number of tacos ordered will be your x-axis here. So we'll call this x here. And this is your y. So number of tacos ordered, we'll put that on here. And so number of tacos. And you will start from 0. Notice it goes from 1, 2, 3, but we'll start from 0. 0 tacos, and it'll cost you nothing, but that's 0. Generally, for most of these scenarios, you want to start from 0. There's certain circumstances you may not, but here we start when you order none. Therefore, you'll spend nothing in this case. So it goes up to 8. So I want my domain, your x values, maybe from 0, go up to about maybe 10, 12. Let's try that. So we have 1, 2. So I'm going on an increment of 1. So each number increased by 1. So my domain is from 0 to 12 in this case, but we'll see what's more realistic. The cost is your x, y-axis, and that's in dollars. So again, we start from 0. Now, because the numbers are increasing by 350, notice we can make this 5, 10, increment of 5. Oops. So that's for my y-axis, or number of tacos ordered. Sorry, number of the cost for it. So we can call this C if you want, and this would be number of tacos. If you want to relabel it, your x and y-axis, but you don't have to. Now, to get your linear equation, we now have to enter this data into our calculator and determine the line of best fit. We've done that at the beginning of the unit. Now we'll put those ideas all together to get a line of best fit. And it's on your sheet which is in this calculator sheet here. So the first set of instruction on page 1 was to reset your calculator. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's go. Now then, I'll also show you later on how to do it on Desmos. So for those of you using your Desmos, I'll come back and show you how to do that. So the step 1, so now my goal is to enter this data into the calculator. Let's see how we'll do that. But with step 1, I'm going to reset my calculator. So let's zoom out a little bit more. So reset your calculator, which is second plus sign, go to number 7, go all the way down to number 7, press enter, and press 1, and reset. Now cleared all what you had before. Now I want to enter my data. Okay, so the set of data I would like to enter into the calculator is this set of data here. Now this will be number of tacos will be L1 and this will be L2. So let's look at it. Okay, I'll just move it over here. Okay, step 1, I want to enter data on the list. So here's my data. So I press my stat button and press 1 for edit. Okay, I can press enter or press 1. And there you should see a blank column. All these columns are blank. Now the L1 would be your number of tacos ordered, and L2 the cost for the tacos. So I'll enter each value here, given 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. Be careful, they're not in increment of 1. You jump. So you have 1, and then you press enter. 2, enter. 3, enter. 5, enter, and 8. Then I toggle over to my L2. And in L2, I have 3.5. Next is 7. Next is 1050, so much it cost. Next is 1750. And the last one is 28. Now, because it's 0 here, you don't need to put it in, but if you're uncomfortable, you can add it in. So make sure we have the most 1, 3.5, 2, 7, 3, 10.5, 5, 1750, and 8, 28. Now we enter our data. So we want to get the line of best fit. And to get the line of best fit, we have to get the equation. That's what we're getting into. We want to get this equation here. So equation would be y is equal to whatever that comes up to be. Let's come here. So now we have our data. We don't need our just the equation anymore. We're going to follow through with our instructions here. Next step, we want to turn the stat plot on. So you're following the same procedure. So we got to go to second and y equal button. Second and y equal to. Then I press 1. And then press enter to choose on. I want it on. Okay. Now I go to my window. I'm going to change my window. Now, let's for a moment go back to our sketch. For our window, let's go back here. So it might be a little too bright. Hopefully it's not too bright. Notice my X, I'll show you here. Let's go back. My X minimum is 0. X minimum, so I put 0 in there. My Y, sorry, my X maximum down here, press down arrow. Now you can make this as big as possible. So I have 12 here, but you can make it 12. But I would just go a bit higher and make it 50. So it doesn't matter because my scalar is up to 12, doesn't matter. Make it 50. Because there's a number of tacos already. This graph limits you to 12 tacos. What if you want to buy 30 or 40, buying for a whole group? So I'll say 50. Now my cost now, which is your Y minimum, go to Y minimum. Now leave the scale as 1. Y minimum is 0. This, you buy no tacos, you spend no money. And the Y minus, I have $60 here. Let's say I make it $200, just to make it, oops, 200. I want to spend $200 with tacos, so let's see what. Oh, sorry, the Y minimum should be 0. Sorry, I didn't move over. So maximum, sorry, that's minimum should be 0. And Y maximum should be, make it 200. Now, that's our instruction in terms of our window. Now we need to get that graph, that linear regression equation. Okay, because that's what we want here. We want the linear equation, which is the same as the linear regression equation. So here we go. So now you enter L1 and L2, you turn the stat plot on, and you change your window. Okay. Now, if you were to press graph, you don't see a line, but what you see are your data that you've entered in. So that's why you need to turn the stat plot on. So now you see your data, but you see no line. And that's what I want. So I can sketch my line. I only see my points here right now. So let's go ahead and determine the linear regression equation. So you've entered L1, L2. Now we're going to press your stat button. Okay, step 2. Now press the right arrow key to go to calc. So I'm going to press my right arrow key to go to calc. Now this is very important. Now we want a linear regression. So this is what we're looking at. Linear regression, you press 4. Now the next unit 4, will be examining quadratic regression, which is a different equation. This would be a curve, this one's a straight line. Okay, so the curve is going up or down. So we want to go to number 4. So we toggle on to number 4, linear regression. So make sure you stop linear regression and you press enter. Or you can press enter right away, press 4, and it will go to that. Next goes down. Now you'll have this menu here. Go down to store RegQ. So you want to get down to that arrow by pressing the down arrow key here. Now once you get there, it says to press the vars button. The vars button is right here. Okay, press the vars button. And you'll go to vars y vars. So I want to get go to y vars. And you press enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And it says calculate. Now I'm going to press down your calculate. And that's your equation. Notice it's giving you in y equal to mx plus b. So your a is 3.5 and the b is 0. So the equation here, it says you have to make sure to write the equation. Y is equal to 3.5x plus 0. Okay. So we'll write that down here. Okay. The linear regression is y is equal to 3.5 3.5x plus 0. Zoom in here a little bit here so you can see. So that is my equation given here, 3.5x. Now, you want to now see your graph. By the way, you can put down your windows in here, but I'll show that to you in a minute. Now I want to see my graph. So I press my graph button here. And there's your line linear regression. And that is what we will enter in our sketch here. So notice you start from 0 and it's going up. So we can take a ruler. So remember this start from 0. Now I can find a few points here. So I can plot these points here. 1 is 3.5. 2 is $7. 3 is $10.50. 5 is $17.50. And 8 is $28. So we can have approximately, and then connect these points now. It should be in a straight line. So let's just get, notice you put an arrowhead here, I mean it's going on forever. Next you have number of tacos, so that's your sketch graph of the situation. Now, if you can actually remove those stat plots for now, you can say, okay, I can remove them, but I'll leave them as they are right now. Okay, now here's a question. Let's follow up. Question. Now we have our equation. By the way, you can still, first you press your Y button, you will still have your equation, your Y to 3.5x plus 0. There it is. Okay, so you can also get it from there. Now, what I would indicate to you, I'll go to my window here, and I can put my window setting where x minimum is 0, x max 50, y minimum equals 0, and y max 200. So those are the ones for the window setting you would like to use. Now the question comes up now. How much would it cost if 20 tacos are ordered? Now, my graph here only goes up to 12. So if you go to 20, which would be somewhere over here, and then we read it off. So we're given the x. Now I can't read it off here because I don't have 20. So you're given the x values. So this is x is equal to 20. And in reality, you have to find the y value. What is the y value here? The y, which is your cost, will give you your cost. So to do that, we're going to follow our instruction here. When you want to find y. Okay. So when you want to find a y value, so you go down here. How to determine the y value. So you're given the x value. We already have our equation. So I'll zoom out here. So our x value is 20. So we'll remember that. Go to my instruction sheet. And here, I'm going to follow through how to determine values given. Let's follow through. So our x value right now is 20. What is my y value? Now we already have our equation, which is what we want. You need to have this equation into your graphing calculator or in Desmos. I'll show you later on. So here to set enter equation in y1. Now this is a generic instruction, so there are cases where you don't have your graph. And in this case, we already have our equation into the y equal button. Next step, choose second trace cal, right, for cal. So second trace on the calculator here. And we're going to select value. We're going to press enter, in other words. Or you can press 1. Now this screen will pop up. Let's do that again. So second trace. You have a menu comes up here. Don't change anything. You go press enter or you press 1 because we want a value. We're given the x value. We want to find the y value. That's what you're telling the calculator. Give me the y value. I have the x value here. So now you see x here. Type in whatever x value you're given. The x value you're given here is 20. So I'll put in 20. And next step, press enter. So when you purchase, or this person purchased 20 tacos, it will cost $70. Okay, so that'll be $70. So we erase this. So when x is equal to 20, y is 70. So this will cost, change this value here, $70. So the instructions are, you press your second, that down here, all the second instructions here. Press your second button. Once you have an equation into your calculator, then you press your trace button. Then enter, because you 1. Then you put x is equal to 20. And you press enter. And you see y is equal to 70. Which is, so it will cost $70 for 20 tacos. The next question, how many tacos could you buy with $100? Now this is, you're given the y value. This is your y coordinate here, instead of 100. What is your x value? And that's where you're going to go to your instruction sheet that I'll walk you through to determine the x value. So the y value is given. So in this case, the y is equal to $100. So 100. What is the x? Okay, so we follow through the instructions here. Don't change. You don't change. Remove your graph. Don't remove your equation. Don't delete anything because we will follow up. We're following up with the same equation. Our equation is the same. Our graph is the same. Nothing has changed. But I want to find my x value here. So we enter our equation in y1, so which we already did. Enter another equation. given the y value. So what is the y value given? The y value is 100. So in y2, we're going to enter 100 here. Okay. So in your second line, do not remove the equation here. That has to remain because we are referring to this equation. Second line, y equals 100. Now, I'll stop there. I'm going to show you what we do. Now, we are actually having a line through the right across here. Now, if it was 55, you want to purchase $60 of tacos, right? How much would it cost you? So what by putting your y equals 60, I'm constructing a horizontal line. And where they meet, that will give you the amount of tacos you can buy. This is your dollars. So in this case, my graph doesn't go up to $100, but if it were, you'll see the line right across it. And where they meet here is the intersecting point. The x value will give you the number of tacos, which we want to find here. How many tacos you buy with $100? So we'll continue the process here. So we're given y equals 100, which is the number of tacos, amount of dollars you want to spend. Now you have that in y2. Now we're going to go to second trace. So now we're going to go second button. Let's put this up here a little bit here. Second trace. Now, in the previous one, we go to 1. When we are given the x value, we press 1. But now we want to go to intersect. Okay. The reason we're finding intersect, if I were to go to graph, y equals 100, that's that line that goes right across there. We're going to find the point where y equals 100 and y equals 3.5x meet. Where they meet, that's your intersecting point, and that will give you the number of tacos. $100 will give you. So let's go ahead and so second trace, number 5, enter, and here you're going to enter 3 times. And there is your y value 100. So this one can purchase 28 tacos. Now you have to run down because you cannot buy half a taco. They won't give it to you. I doubt it. So in this case here now, we're following the instruction, pressing 3 times. So the number of tacos would be your x value. In this case, 28 tacos. So when y is equal to, zoom here. When y is equal to $100, the number of tacos, 28. So we can conclude you could buy 28 tacos with $100. Now, because you cannot buy a fraction of a taco, right? So x here, what was x again? X was down 28.57. So you run down. So you got to get a fraction of a taco. Now, the set of instructions, I'm going to write it here. What is again to be? You put in your y1 is equal to, we already have 3.5x. Then we enter y2 is equal to 100. And we entered Then we go second, trace. You go to number 5, intersect. Then you press the enter 3 times. And then give us x is equal to, and so we have x can be equal to 28.57. So that's the complete steps to find the linear regression or linear equation when you're given a set of data. So we enter the data into our calculator to get a regression equation. Once we have a regression equation, we can sketch our graph. And if you're given the x value, how to find the y value, look at the instructions. And if you're given the y value, how do you find the x value? Now, this is a scenario where the set of data is given. Okay. So now, we go on to the next question. But before I go on to the next question, I want to use Desmos to go through that quickly with you, how we go about doing the same set of questions here. Desmos is a little bit quicker, so we'll follow through with Desmos. And you can follow through with your instruction sheet. I'll just zoom out a little bit here so you can see the full sheet. So this is on the blog, so you should have this handy. So it's similar. I've walked you through how to do your sketch, so I won't repeat that. So once you've done your sketch, you wouldn't have had this in Desmos. So the next, once I have Desmos open, I want to enter my set of data. Right. So I want to enter my set of data. So I go step 2. Once I have Desmos open, I'm going to press the plus sign. And once you have it, click on the table. And now we're going to enter x1 into our table. So this is our x1. And this is my y1. So I enter my Q1. Should have a keypad. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. Now I want to go up. My y2, sorry, y1 would be 350. Enter 7, 10.5, and 28. Right away, you start to see your points, right? Now, we're not done yet. So we've done that part. So if you do this now and zoom on, those are my points. Now, I need to go now to line 2. Now, I got my data in. Now, I'm going to go, once you have your data in, next step. So here your screen should look like that. You're going to enter this equation in line 2. Okay, I can press that sign and you can see my line of best fit. Now that looks kind of odd. Now I notice what happened here. I didn't do it correctly. So here I look at my zoom in here and look at my points look simply odd. So I need to go back to my data because I didn't do it correctly. The first one is 350, the second one is $7. The third is 1050. Number 5, 1750. So I have to go back here and change that to 17.5. 8. Oops. 8 is $20. You could always go back and change your data. Now it looks better. Okay. Next, I'm going to go to line 2. And enter y1 tilde mx1 plus b. That's an equation of a straight line. So I'll go ahead and use the keypad here, y1. Automatically, it goes to y1. Just type in the y and the 1. But I need this tilde, so you have to go to your keypad. So you press your ABC, and there's your tilde, little like a horizontal S. Then I type M, but I need to go back to my pad here to 1. Plus, I need to go back to my keypad and press B. So your M. Okay, Y1. Oh, forget my, notice I didn't put my X in there. Somehow I'm missing my X. There we go. If you don't see a line, it means that look at the equation again. Notice I didn't put my, I didn't indicate the X. So be critical. Now I have my line of best fit. Now the equation of the slope of the equation of the line is y is equal to 3.5x and b is 0, exactly as the graphing calculator. Okay, so you can record your equation. So that will be your equation will go there. Y equals, your m is 3.5. Okay, now I have my equation. So I have my thing here. Now I can zoom. Oh, I did not. I removed my. I deleted it. Oh, that wasn't very nice of me. So I'll redo it again. Okay, now what happened here? Okay. Oh no, I didn't do this correctly. I have too many. Oops. Back to Desmos. So y tilde, no, y1. M1 x plus b. Oh, okay. My mistake here should be x1. There we go. Now there's my line of my set of data. Now the good thing about Desmos, you can zoom in and zoom out, and you can go to any range or domain. As I mentioned, you have your equation, y equal to 3.5 x plus 0. Now I need to find the value for y. Okay, go back here to my, how much it costs if 20 tacos are ordered. So in this case, you're given the value for x. So on the third line, how many, what's your x value? That's your x value. Your x value is 20. So I'll put here x equals 20. Oops. Now, this one I have to go back to my 20. Now, where it intersect, Tap on it a couple of times. There it is, $70. So when X is 20, Y is 70. There is your value. The last part, they said when Y is 100, what is X? So now the next line, I can do that here. I put Y equals 100. Now, there's my graph. Y equals 100. I tap on it twice. So they give me 28.571. So when Y is 100, X is 28. And this goes for any value. Let's say if I were to go back here, my tilde again, let's go to another line. By the way, you can move this up and down. There's a slider, which is so cool. So this gives you your Y value and your X value. Now, if you want to say Y is, if you want to spend $150 in taco, so you'll see Y equals, right here, Y equals, okay, I need to go back here, Y equals 150. And you see the 150 line is up here, so you tap on it. So if you were to spend $150 for tacos, you get about 42 tacos. Okay. The next question is one where you have to complete the set of data here. Now it's almost exactly as the previous one, which is example 3. But example 4, some of the data is missing here. Okay. So in the next video, I'll go through this question here, where you have to complete a set of data. In the meanwhile, I would like you to complete, we go to your booklet and complete question 3 and question 4. You should have completed question 1 and 2. The answers are all at the back of the booklet, so you should have completed question 1 and 2. So today, I would like you to complete question 3 and 4, which is similar. And also 5 and 6. So these are the ones which you can complete with your data. The next set of questions is where you have to complete, you have an incomplete set of data. And you have to complete it. So that will be the next example question for our next lesson, which is linear application with verbal description given. So let's review. Today, we completed a lesson, linear application with table of values given. So you're given a table of values, and you enter, let's say, the table of values into your calculator using your stat plot, graphing calculator. Once you have a set of data there, we need to derive our equation. And that's where you press your stat button, go to calc, and then you go to number 4, linear regression. And we go down to 5, we press enter. Oh, no. Sorry. You press your vars button, and then go to Y vars and enter that 3 times to arrive at our equation. That gives us our equation given. Press graph, we'll have our line of best fit, but previous to that, we already set our window. We set our window according to our scale here. And you ask 2 questions. When X is 20, in other words, you're buying 20 tacos, how much will it cost? See the second trace button. So define, and that is all on your instruction sheet. We find the cost for 20 tacos, and we also found if you were to use $100, how many tacos you could buy? 28. And your assignment is on page 37 of your booklet. Complete questions 3 and 4. By now, you should have completed questions 1 and 2, which is based on, these questions are based on the first 2 examples. And you also want to complete questions 5 and 6. Question 7, which will follow after I complete the next lesson. The next one will be on completing the data. Once you completed the data, it will be almost exactly as this one over here. By now, you should be working through assignment 3.